So Jussie Smollett's fate is about to be in the hands of the jury. And there is something really interesting that has surfaced. You remember the Osundairo brothers, who are really the star witnesses for the prosecution. They have really come out and said, look, all of this talk that Jussie had some relationship with one of us is ridiculous, that we didn't, and that, you know, this is an arm's length kind of deal where he came to us. Well,
we
look
were
at these
personal trainers for him, and that's it.
Look at these pictures, folks. So they are growing out.
On the right there, that's Bola Osundairo, and of course Jussie's on the left.
Not a training.
In the third.
Not a training session.
Not a training. They're out at a club in Chicago. That was in. By the way, that's less than a month before the alleged attack, and these photos of them hanging out go back all the way to July of 2018. Here's one in September. Again, Bola and Jussie hanging out.
Now remember, Jussie said that they had much more of an intimate relationship than the brothers.
Jussie suggested a sexual nature of the relationship, and Bola denied that. But clearly, they were very good friends, hanging out for several months at all sorts of hot spots in Chicago. So
how does this cut? And look, the jury apparently has
there's a video of them also, by the way, at another club.
Yeah, and they're having fun. I mean, they're clearly friends.
Yeah.
These videos and photos, they have not been seen by the jury in court. But I got to tell you, I know the way this game works. And unless the jury's sequestered, the judge always says you can't watch television, you can't look online and all this. There are a lot of jurors who just find that irresistible. And they shouldn't, but they do. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of them saw this. Now, the question is, if they did, which way does this cut?
I think it very clearly cuts in Jussie's favor, because it would support what he was saying. It's closer to what he is saying as far as what their relationship was. And when you have the Osundairo brothers saying that they were not friends with him, that they were not, you know, that they were personal trainers, and that they were hired to be personal trainers, and they were hired for the alleged attack. But when you see these videos, it makes you think, all right, well, they at least didn't tell the whole truth about their relationship with Jussie. So then that makes you question their credibility.
Yeah, that you're right that it does question their credibility, because they said they weren't real friends. On the other hand, there's another way of looking at it, which is that it hurts Jussie, because if Jussie really made this up and got these guys to stage a fake attack, if you were going to do that and you're a famous actor, would you do that with somebody you don't know or who doesn't necessarily like you? Wouldn't you choose somebody who is close to you, who would keep a secret? And maybe that cuts against Jussie, because if they're that good of friends, more likely he would get them to be in on it than if they were just at arm's length.
It's hard to know how this thing's cut, Harvey. I got to tell you, I mean, on the one hand, if their credibility is the least bit undermined, it begins to give credence to a little bit of reasonable doubt, right? Anytime the star witness for the prosecution is caught saying something that is not totally true, it undermines the prosecution's case. That said, the closeness of the relationship between Jussie and the Osundairo brothers, I think, in total, goes against Jussie's claims that he didn't know the people that were attacking them. If he really had this relationship, you'd think that he would be able to sort of, even though they had masks on, recognize them, recognize their voices. It also sort of, to your point, they had these folks that he knew. If he's going to set it up, he's going to go to people that he knows, and they seem like logical folks. And they say that he approached them for that very reason, that they had a relationship, a business relationship, but he felt he could trust them to carry this out.
Yeah, we're basically doing closing arguments. I mean, because that's what they're going to say on both sides.
Right.
They're going to say how, you know, try to figure out whether it's who you believe.
It's who you believe. And I am still maintaining that if Jussie Smollett is found guilty, even though he could face years of prison, I think he's got a real shot at getting probation off of this thing. I really do, because, look.
Probation, but also paying back.
Oh,
yeah, and then paying back the money.
Remember, that's a lawsuit already. The city of Chicago is already suing him to get the money back.
Right.
So the reason that becomes, if you will, victimless is because if the city wins that, which I'm sure they will, because the standard of proof is much lower in that case, it kind of becomes a victimless crime, except for the fact that what Jussie did was he damaged the concept of hate crimes, that to understand the seriousness of hate crimes, because he said this was a homophobic, racist attack, and if it's neither, and he made this up, then it makes other people who may make similar claims look like they're crying wolf, and that really damages people. So you could argue that indirectly it's not a victimless crime, even if he pays the city back.
Hi, I'm Jasmine, located in Orlando, Florida. And as stated before, I do believe that Jussie should have been confessed that he knew both of the brothers. Obviously, this was a publicity stunt gone wrong. And this case is getting old. He's going to be guilty. Both of them are going to see some time because obviously this was an organized crime. But it should just be done with by now.
Well, it's going to be done with soon because the jury's got the case.
But I got to tell you, I hear what you're saying, and I still think that the jury knows Jussie. They don't know the brothers, right?
And so this is, you know, I started the show, 20 years ago called Celebrity Justice because there is such a thing. And you're right that there is a certain amount of goodwill, especially somebody who lives in that city.
Right. And so
a certain amount of goodwill that's associated with this.
Yeah, he sort of has a head start with the jury, but we will see.